Alright, what's happening, y'all? I got an email a little while ago, and I've actually touched on this before in the other videos, but this one has some questions we really never answered before. So it says, hey Tyrone, and by the way, it was entitled Cultural Differences. It says, hey Tyrone, after watching your video, Am I a Race Traitor? I was reminded of some things that I went through with my ex when I met and interacted with her family. She's white from the Midwest. Have you and Sarah dealt with cultural differences being an interracial couple, such as your views on family, raising and disciplining children, traditions, religion, and so on? Thanks. A dude from Brooklyn. 1 million strong. And it says, P.S. I don't know if you ever viewed... Oh, never mind. That was... Yeah, we got that, man. We definitely did. Alright, so where should we start here? His first question is, have we ever dealt with cultural differences being an interracial couple? I would say yeah, but like not culture clash, like in your face stuff. I don't think.
No, not really.
I personally can't think of anything where it was like culture clash, like damn, you know what I'm saying? But something's coming in your head.
Really,
it sounds
so
like.
much black and white, but culturally, you grew up poorer than I did.
That's true.
So there were some things that I didn't understand about. Like, we were just talking about this yesterday, how he says I don't eat chicken right because I'll eat the meat.
Yeah.
And I leave the gristly stuff on the edge of the wings.
I take all the meat. If the meat's attached to something,
wings,
I
there's
eat
nothing
it.
but 2 bones, just sticks. There's no gristle or crunchy stuff. He says I wasn't taught to eat them proper because I didn't grow up poor.
When I'm done, they eat like fossils. I mean, they look like fossils when I'm done. Because to me, well, first of all, you couldn't waste no food, okay? When I was young, you couldn't. You didn't want to waste it. Plus, my mom made the best damn, and this is stereotypical, but she did. She made the best damn chicken in Beverly. Like, everybody knew about her chicken, and even my family and throughout, you know, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. Different Kingdom Halls, which is what they call their churches. Like, people knew. Like, yeah, we heard Sister Hall's chicken is just delightful.
Delightful. She gave
me the recipe, and I actually know how to cook it. You know what I mean? So it's.
Speaking of which, you need to make something.
Yeah, I made her chicken. She was hooked.
I was hooked.
She was like,
delicious.
She was giving me the white. You know what I mean? Like, you know, black people would be like, damn. But, you know, anyway, so it's funny, yeah. It's not that's not in particular a black or white thing, but that's kind of like an income. Yeah, it's an economic thing that was different with us. I can't think of anything else culturally, like, that we ran, because what's funny is also, didn't the church that you go to, didn't you like go to church with a lot of black people anyway?
Not so much when I was growing up, but as I became like a teenager and got a little bit older, it was a primarily black church. I grew up in a black neighborhood.
Yeah,
so
she went to Willingboro.
For me, it wasn't
Mount Holly,
that big of
New Jersey.
I was already used to that.
So it really wasn't much difference, you know. If anything, she grew up getting made fun of by the black girl and dealing with that. She knew how to. She knew how. You know, she knew how black people acted. You know, she knew how white people acted. You know, so there really wasn't.
I mean, there was. When I was growing up, you know, this is 90s, so in Living Color and Martin and doing the Tootsie Roll and all that stuff was in. And I think that is considered more of black culture. Those are black shows, but I wasn't allowed to watch them, not because I was white, but because I grew up in a very strict Christian home, and those were considered secular, worldly shows that covered adult topics that I was not allowed to watch. So that part of the culture, I guess I missed out on or didn't understand. But it wasn't because I was white; it was because I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, and anybody's. As Joe's witness, know how strict life can be.
Were you allowed to watch it?
Yeah, I was allowed to watch it.
But he was older than me, though. He's 6 years older than me. So
yeah, that's true.
You know, when it was out, I was in like 5th grade. He would have been a full-grown teenager So he was making his own decisions on what he was going to watch, you know.
So let me see, what else did he say? So there's the cultural differences, raising family, views on family. Her family, I'll tell you this, my mother's family is very close knit, okay? My father's family isn't that close knit. I grew up mainly with my mother's family, so yeah, we were close knit. I think the difference in our opinion about maybe the close knittingness of it is maybe her family accepting me means more to her than my family accepting her to me.
Yeah.
To me, yeah, go ahead.
Well, part of it is his family is very, very accepting of me. I've never had a problem.
As soon as they met her, they loved her. And they was all like, one of my aunts was like, oh, look, she got hips like my girl. Where'd you find her out, Tyrone?
Who was that, Michelle?
No, Zanny. They loved her. My mother would have loved her.
It's been nice to be accepted into his family. Unfortunately, I can't say the same thing about my family. There are some more racist relatives of mine, not my immediate family, but some of my aunts and uncles, that, you know, they can't see past their own ignorance to understand that he's a good man. He's stood by me through some really, really tough times. You know, and it really doesn't matter what color he is, but that's the way my grandfather raised them, and that's all they know. You know, they should know better, but they don't. Or if they do, they choose not to do the right thing.
I always thought
be kind and accepting.
Yeah, I always thought your parents' job to get you on the path. It's your job to then, you know, steer where you want to go afterwards. You know, it's some people just, you know, they're. My grandfather
he was a good man in a lot of ways, but he was raised to.
Heard he ruled with an iron fist.
He did. He ruled with an iron fist, and it was okay to be friends with black people, but it was not okay to marry into a black family. You were supposed to be separated. That's how he was raised, and that's how he taught my family. So unfortunately, Tyrone has dealt with a lot of abrasiveness because of his race.
Yeah, whenever I'm with him, I don't feel like I belong.
He doesn't feel comfortable.
I never feel comfortable like I belong.
Which is unfortunate,
I don't feel
but
accepted.
Tyrone has the kind of personality where it's like, you don't like me, fuck you.
Yeah.
You know? So
basically,
he's fine with moving on. Unfortunately, I'm not like that.
Right.
It's good that his family accepts me, but it hurts me to know that he doesn't feel comfortable around some of my family. My cousins and stuff are great around him, but you know, with the aunts and uncles.
A couple of your cousins is cool. And I get along with her brother-in-law. He's real cool. And her sister. But just, you know, I don't need to go into this, really. People are going to start figuring out who they are. But, so, views on family. I believe we both believe in having a close-knit family.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. So, we don't really have any clashing views on family specifically. Raising and disciplining children. Now, in the beginning, I don't think we really clashed much, but as things went along, we would talk more about how to rear the children. One was discipline, and I didn't really have many views on discipline. Once in a while I would make jokes about stuff and she would get mad. But one day she told me, like, her brother-in-law and her sister's children are so well behaved.
They're extremely well behaved.
She brought up, you know, like a couple books they read or whatever and what methods they use to teach their children. I don't have any problem with it. I don't. And as far as spanking goes, you know, they do get spanked when they have to, but it's like the last resort type of thing.
Spanking, you know, a lot of parents use spanking because they don't know how to express their own anger and their own feelings, and they take it out on the child. So they're frustrated, and the child's not doing what they want them to do, so they smack them. That's not how you're supposed to, in my opinion, that's not how you're supposed to use spanking. You know, in my house, the way I was raised was, if you did something bad, you were told to go to your room. And my mom said, you know, your dad's going to come in, he's bringing the belt, he's going to give you 3 smacks. If he hits your hand with the belt, then you get an extra one. And it was very controlled. My father had to talk with me. The reason why I'm spanking you is because I still love you. you know, he used the line, "This hurts me more than it hurts you," and I didn't understand, you know, then, but I was such a remorseful child that I wanted approval so much that I would be in tears before I even got the spanking because I was upset that I disappointed them.
Right.
But I think that spanking should be used sparingly. You know, if a 2-year-old is reaching for a stove, a smack on the hand that's hot, that's going to get the point across. And it's not going to kill him that you smacked his hand. It's going to hurt him more if he burns his hand on the stove. So that's how I view it. I do believe in the 1, 2, 3 method, but you have to be very consistent with it. Let your child make the choice. Okay, if I choose to do this, there's going to be a consequence. I can choose to accept that consequence, or I can choose to behave and listen to my mom and dad. That if you're very consistent with it and there is a method to it, your children can be very well behaved and very respectful. My sister's children, they're kids. They have their moments. But for the most part, compared to other kids that I've seen, they're very grateful for what they have, and they're very well behaved, and they're very respectful. So that's how I want to raise my family.
She started sounding real white, didn't she? Told me to go to my room. I'm like, go to your room. Y'all know it was a beating right in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, but that's because your parents.
No, I wasn't done yet. I wasn't done. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I'm not talking about that. Then she started to sprinkle a little black stuff in there, right? She said, your dad's gonna be up there with the belt. Like, oh shit, okay, so she didn't just have to go to her room.
Oh, there were a few times where my mother told me, go get the wooden spoon, and we had to pick out
everybody that grew up Christian. A lot of people that grew up Christian, I know y'all know this. I know. Some of y'all can relate to this. Comment below. Your parents read a scripture to you before they whooped your ass. Look at that. She just said, yeah.
I had that a couple
I was like, what?
My mother rebuked me because I said, I hate you.
Yeah, that was the white part. I would have never said that.
It was a lie from the pit of hell.
When she told me that she told her mom, I hate you, I said, you said that? She was like, yeah. She rebuked me. I fell out laughing. I said, there's no way I'd have got away with that, my mom. No way. I'd have had to been much older to get away with that. So,
she probably spanked me too for it.
I thought you told me you were a teenager though. Well,
no, I was probably like 10.
Her mom hit like Hillbilly Jim, so I don't know.
She's a big bone lady.
Raising and disciplining the children, yeah, like we just answered that. So I'm in agreement. Agreement. God damn. Sorry. Because of the example that Terry and Hans, which is her sister and her brother-in-law, have set with their children. So I could definitely follow that. Let's see here. Traditions.
That's a tough one.
Well, what are we going to consider traditions here?
I think most people consider traditions like, what do you do on Easter, Christmas, family get-togethers.
Well, let's include this together: traditions and religion. Okay, because these are the last two.
Because his religion affects, the religion he used to be affects the traditions. I'll tell him about being.
Well. I mean, all right. Here's one thing. Like, for example, traditions. Because I'm trying to think of ones that are religious and ones that aren't, because they kind of intertwine a lot of them. For example, I grew up Jehovah's Witness. They don't celebrate birthdays, okay? The reason why they don't is if you look up the background of birthdays, it's tied into what a Christian would call a false religion practice. Because I think it came from either Roman or Greek tradition of a god that celebrated their birthday with honey cakes and candles. So since that was the Roman or the Greeks' religion, Christians don't follow their religion. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people think it's extra. Some people would say, well, if you're going to be a strict Christian, you wouldn't follow that. So growing up, I got used to not celebrating my birthday. So to me, it doesn't mean anything when that day comes. It really doesn't. I'm just like, I'm a day older. Yeah, that's great. Now, to her, not coming from that background, she's like, well, I understand. Why can't you just be happy about the day you were born? And we would always go in circles. When I was really religious, when she first met me, or I was more religious, I'd be like, well, to me, it's about not following that false religion practice. To her, it was about celebrating happiness of the day you were born, and we could never connect on that. Now she's gotten to know me a lot better, and it's just like she just accepts it for what it is. You get what I'm saying? She still would like me to celebrate it. She would like me to come out on her birthdays and a bunch of other people's birthdays.
He doesn't celebrate birthdays.
I don't.
Not even Thanksgiving. So, I mean, those are all times that I was raised where your family gets together. You have a good time with your family. You're thankful. You're appreciative. You eat food. You open presents. Things like that. You know, so it took me a long time to get used to the fact that he wasn't going to be there. Now, I think that he would probably be a little bit more accommodating if my family wasn't racist. The extended family, when we get together with the aunts and uncles and things like that.
I would still...
He would be more, he would feel more welcome,
yeah,
even though he was less comfortable with the holiday.
Yeah, at least I would feel welcome. But sometimes I wouldn't be able to see certain family, or actually other people I know. I've adopted my Puerto Rican family. They're my surrogate family, and they invite me for every holiday thing. And while I don't celebrate it, I'll go just to see them because I haven't seen them all year. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, here's my thing. What she also knows is that even though I don't celebrate those days, because I've just gotten so used to it, she gets presents throughout the year from me. Mm-hmm. She does not have to wait for her birthday. She does not have to wait for Christmas. She can get... I used to buy her, like she loves cachet. I used to just randomly go buy her dresses and buy her shoes or buy her handbags.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't have to wait for me. Yeah. It's all year long.
And he's always really good. I always get really nice jewelry on our anniversary. So... You know, I'm not lacking in the gift department.
But it's just the whole,
does kind of bother me sometimes that we can't be together with that family.
Right. Look, to tell you the truth, yeah, she's right. If her family wasn't racist and didn't have such a problem that I was raised being a Jehovah's Witness, I would go just to hang out. Even though, you know, I might not sing none of the Christmas carols and none of that stuff. Look, I could do a whole separate video on all the different holidays and all that stuff. Because if you really look into them, just look at Christmas and what it's turned into and what it really is, you found out what the truth is about it, you wouldn't want to celebrate it. And you'd realize that it's all about the money.
Okay, this is going on a whole different tangent.
Yeah, you know.
We have decided, though, and I brought this idea up and he said, I think it's a good idea, because I want to celebrate Thanksgiving and he doesn't. I said, well, how about in another month of the year we have a family and friends dinner day, and we just make a big dinner.
Like Joe's Witnesses have get-togethers. They have get-togethers, but they don't believe in the whole Thanksgiving thing because they give thanks every day. It's not 1 year that they give thanks for everything. We give the thanks to the Father every day.
Plus, if you look back historically, we did slaughter the Native Americans.
Yeah, it wasn't really a particular great time, you know. 4th of July, same thing, political holidays, I don't celebrate none of them. You know, I look into things in truth and what's really going on, and I really look at my moral compass when I'm, you know, evaluating what I'm going to do or not do.
So again, it's really not a cultural or a race thing. Yeah. It's more of that's a religious difference.
Yeah. But it does involve religion and tradition and what you're going to do, you know what I mean? We don't really clash, and if you've noticed, not really none of these clashes that we have been about white or black. Yeah. It's been about I could say culture in a way, but it's, I guess, more religious culture that we had more clashings about, but you know, it's kind of interesting as we're going on this journey and discovering new things and what we both feel about religion and God, and you know, we've discussed about how to talk to children, and you know, some people say, well, I'm not saying I'm an atheist or whatever, I'm just saying, but people are like, well, if God ain't in your life, how's a child gonna do good? And I remember I had a discussion with her.
You got 40 seconds.
And I know what I got left, and I was just like, wow, you know, she would know. She was like, wow, that was a good way to explain things to your child without bringing God into it. to have them do well. You know, just them, you know, you being disappointed can make a child want to do right in life. But all right, our 20 minutes is up. This video is about to end, and yeah, I hope I answered them all. Maybe we can do another video on other questions if you have them in the future. I'll talk to you later. 1 million subscribers.